If Plastic Memories episode 8 didn't make you feel something throughout the episode, then you're probably not going to stick around for the conclusion. This episode was quite emotional but quite subtle in everything that it did. Until the ending. The ending was not very subtle at all, it was very blunt. But throughout the episode there was quite a bit of subtle emotion going on. And all of it was quite instantly explained towards the end of the episode. But if you could see the subtlety going on, then it was even better at that point. Felt a bit like Oregairu, where they were showing you physical signs of things going on rather than telling you exactly what was happening. And that was awesome. And unlike Oregairu, they had everything spelled out to you by the end of the episode. But I mean, we can't expect every anime to be as good as Oregairu. So, spoiler flag up, and let's get into this. This episode was actually pretty damn good. For an anime that, as I've said several times, is very hit and miss on its pacing, this episode was one of the great episodes. There was a kind of retrieval very early on in the beginning, which set the tone for the episode. Because the woman who had her Giftio retrieved decided straight away that she was going to have the operating system replaced, but keep the body of the old Giftio. Now this is a bit of an interesting tactic. It would be like a family member who you loved having complete and total amnesia and becoming a different person. It's a bit more than amnesia, I guess, because they are completely different, as we saw in this episode. It was really interesting to see this route, actually. They have the old idea of replacing a Giftio completely, giving you a completely different one, and then just changing the memories but keeping the same body. And the woman at the beginning said, "Oh, I've done this more than one time, I'm fine with that. I treat them all the same way anyway." But they are different people. And that would be the problem with this. Elle came to her own decision about the difference between Andy and Olivia. Olivia being her old friend she grew up with, who she loved, but who had her memory erased and became a different person, Andy. Andy is a Giftio retrieval marksman, and she's a completely different person. Elle didn't realise at first that she'd been retrieved and had her memories changed. So she was acting like Olivia was still Olivia. And Andy was just really confused by the whole thing, but ended up liking Elle anyway, which is interesting. It makes you think that they have a bit of their instincts left over, even if their memories and personalities are completely different. Because, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but, well, actually, if a chick randomly grabbed me up, I'd be quite happy with it. But, if a man randomly grabbed me up, I would not be calling them up to see if they wanted to hang out and get together. I don't know. I don't know why Andy decided to do that over Elle, unless there are some memories left over in her. Not necessarily memories, but instincts. She sees Elle, she thinks, this is someone I want to be friends with. Even though Elle's a bit insane. So, that was pretty cool. And they were subtly hinting towards everything that Elle was feeling. And really, it's not something you can quite imagine, unless I guess you have had a family member who's had amnesia and become almost a different person, which is weird enough as it is. But in this case, where they completely replace everything that's inside of them, it's 100% a different person, and so you kind of have to deal with that. Elle dealt with that by saying, "Hey, Andy's different from Olivia. I'm going to go make new memories with Andy. Andy can be my friend even if she isn't Olivia." And that's a good way to look at it. The woman from the beginning was kind of in denial of the whole thing. She's had the same Giftio's body. This is going to be the third time at least in a row. And every time she's treated her as if she was the same person, which she just isn't. One of the things that they did in this that was quite subtle, which they actually didn't spell out straight away, I liked, was when Andy was having a drink of the jellyfish juice, or whatever disgustingness they called it. Elle was just like, "Oh, you probably shouldn't drink that much," kind of thing. She knew her old friend Olivia hated the taste of it, and she was warning her, "You're not going to like it." And then when Andy was drinking it, she was like, "Oh, it's not bad, it's pretty unique." And that really shattered Elle's perceptions right there. That's what told her her friend Olivia was not coming back. This was Andy, a completely different person. And that's when she decided to start treating her as a completely different person. So what this episode was really all about was about telling us, the audience, and Tsukasa, there was going to be no workaround in which he could keep Isla's memories around. Once it's her time to go, she is going. That is it. And it was something that needed to be told to Tsukasa, and despite this, he's still not given up on the whole idea. He's still talking about wanting to be her partner forever. And that's why I titled this episode, Forever? Because what he needs to learn is that his forever with Ayla has a time limit of 3 weeks. And he needs to stop talking about the forever, because that's just going to end up hurting Ayla. Because she knows when she's going. She's dealing with that herself. And him trying to lie about it and trying to get out of it is just going to cause her pain. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people arguing with me in the comment section and saying he should keep trying, surely there's some way, but simple fact is, unless he finds a way to actually save the Giftiers internally, there's nothing he can do. He can't just pray for a miracle in this. And that's what he's gonna do, because like Elle said, he's a child. He's a boy, not a man yet. He needs to learn what he can do and what he can't do. So moving on to that I want to be with you forever moment. It was actually very emotional. Like, they played the ending song while Tsukasa was chasing after Ayla, and the lighting choices were quite good. One problem that I had with it is they did a lot of repeated frame kind of stuff when he was looking for her and spinning around and stuff. It looked kind of cool, but you could tell there were repeated frames. And that was annoying. It kind of diminished an otherwise good moment. And then it was quite cute when he actually found her, and I don't know, it didn't feel great. Like, the confession was really cute and sweet, but then the way she refused it, they tried to make it comical. They didn't make it emotional. Like, Tsukasa wouldn't have just been like, kind of broken for comedy kind of thing. He would have been like seriously hurt by that. And so putting in the comedy at that moment just kind of ruined it for me. I don't know, that whole scene before it with the fireworks and that I want to stay with you forever and her blushing was very cute. But it was just ruined by the way they handled it at the end, in my opinion. I don't know. So that's all I can say about that. I want everyone to share your opinions on how you thought of that whole confession and the ending and how it was handled, to let me know if I'm just really being too harsh on it here, but it did kind of ruin it for me. So I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. It was great in that it was all one thing. It wasn't like... What I hated a couple of times in this series is that half of the episode will be about an actual plot, and the other half will just be silliness to fill the time. This time the whole episode had a general idea of where it was going. It was talking about Giftiers' memories being replaced, and showing Tsukasa there was no way he was getting out of losing Ayla even if she has her memories replaced and keeps the body. So, I liked it. 8 out of 10. Pretty damn good episode. As I said, that confession could have been handled much better, even if they just cut it after he confessed to her and didn't give her answers straight away. And then began the next episode with the tone of comedy and her running away and everything, it would have been fine. But finishing on that did kind of ruin it for me. So as I said, let me know what you guys thought of the episode, and especially that sweet but ruined confession in the comment section below. Like if you enjoyed this review, subscribe to see more if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time.